Hey everyone, J-Man here. We're going to talk about Atrium. This is a brand new comic, #1, from Comics Asylum Publishing. The way I came about finding this comic was I attended the Mississauga comic book show, which I attend all the time. It's great. There's a video, of course, on all the cool stuff I got from the Mississauga comic book show. This is one of the things that I did get. The writers were there promoting, selling copies, signed copies. I got it signed of Atrium #1. If you've been following my channel, you know I'm really a superhero comic book guy. If it's not a superhero comic, it's probably not something that I'm going to be too, excited about. However, I was just in the mood. I thought, you know what? I keep talking about, we gotta help out independent comics and all that kind of stuff. And people always talk about this. I thought, you know what? This is my chance to actually do what a lot of people say now. I thought, let me go ahead and grab this issue. It's signed too, so that's great. We're going to talk about this using my space system. So story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best you can get in any category. This is a difficult one to review using my space system because my space system really relies upon your expectation level. If I give a comic book a 10 out of 10, I'm not saying that that comic book is better than Watchmen or The Dark Knight Returns or something like that. There is a level of expectation of a comic. You're expecting it to be whatever based on the creative team. It could be based on the character. So if you're buying a Deadpool comic, there's different expectations than if you're buying a Superman comic, right? So my space system, it's not great for brand new comics. Like I've got nothing to compare this to. It's not even really a superhero comic, so I don't even have that genre as a backup. I'm kind of just reviewing this as it is in a vacuum. That's the best that I can do. And with in the back of my mind, knowing that this is basically an independent publisher. Obviously, it's not Marvel, DC, or even like Image or something. So that the expectation level, of course, is not going to be high because you're like, well, it's just some independent comic. I don't know what this is. So let's talk about it in that way. So using my space system, which I'm going to still use, I'm going to give the storyline a 1.5. So 2 would be the best that you can get in any category. 1.5 means it's better than what I expected. So 1, if you thought the storyline was bad, you'd give it a 0. If you thought it was pretty good, you'd give it a 1. If you thought it was amazing, you'd give it a 2. So I'm at a 1.5. So it's actually better than good, short of amazing, because again, I'm mostly into superhero comics with lots of fights and all that. But I don't want to spoil this too much. This is a new comic, so we're not going to just go through. We're not going to do like an in-depth review like I normally do here, go through every page and everything like that. That's not going to happen. Basically, there's a heart transplant. So they're taking this heart and they're transplanting it, or they're taking it to someone who needs it. We're going back and forth between the characters bringing the heart and then the characters who are waiting to receive it. That's kind of it. So it's basically pretty simple. The reason I'm giving it above a good is that I actually kind of got interested in what was going on. So I think that there's a mysterious atmosphere going on in the comic, which is making it more interesting than it sounds me telling you. There's a little bit of action with some gunplay, and there's a subway crash and stuff like that. And again, I don't want to go super details into this. I will show some of the art when I get to the art category. But it did do a good job of kind of drawing you into the story. Again, the reason why I can't give it the full 2 is I actually wish there was a little bit more in this first one. I think a lot of comic books now, they tend to, they draw you in and then they kind of be like, ooh, wait for the next thing to happen. And that does work well with like a television show or something where the entire season drops at once. But now I'm going to have to wait. I don't know how long I'm going to have to wait. I'm going to have to wait, let's say a month or whatever it is for this next one. I think a lot of that momentum might be lost while I'm waiting, and then it's almost like issue 2 comes in. Then I've got to read 1 and 2 again, or I got to read 1 again to get back to where I was. But still really good job on the story. So definitely above good, just below amazing. So, you know, really good, I guess. Pacing, I'm going to give it the same score for pacing, which will be a 1.5. Typically, if there's not a lot of action in a comic, I need like 50% action, 50% story in every comic book. That's just how I am. However, I was not bored in this comic. So I'm still going to give it above average on the pacing because I wasn't bored, and I do feel like there was a little bit of progression and I was interested in what's going on. So that's your two big key factors. Is there progression page to page? Do I care about it, right? And yes to both questions. However, I want more action. Listen, that's just how it is. That's how it is for me, for comic books. Okay. The art, I think I might give it a 2 out of 2 for the art. You gotta keep in mind as well that I'm basing art on, again, expectation of, like, obviously the art in this comic is not better than Jack Kirby or Neil Adams or Alex Ross or something. Again, we're not going by that. This is actually cover B. I preferred cover B. I usually just get cover A because I really don't care about covers, but because both happen to be in front of me, I just sort of picked the one I kind of thought looked cooler. So I went with this. Interior art is really good. It is panely, right? However, it suits it. So again, I don't know this artist. I don't know the creative team here. I don't have anything to compare to. Or do I know the artist? No. So I don't have anything I can't pull out, like, if it's like, oh, we're talking about Todd McFarlane. Okay, I can think, oh, is this a great Todd McFarlane art? I don't know. So just based on the feel for this comic, I actually think the art really came together really nicely. So I'm actually going to give it a 2 out of 2 for the art. I could follow what was going on. The characters were distinct enough from each other that I could tell who was who. There is military character. I'll get to characters in a second. There's military characters, and there's like doctors, but I could tell each person apart, so that's really good. There's a nice little explosion here right in the beginning. So yeah, great art. Before I continue, I do want to mention my channel sponsor, which is beardedshirts.com, and today I'm wearing a bearded shirt. I'm wearing Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. Now, underneath all the Legion around. Now, this is a print all over shirt, so you can see it, and it goes to the back. I love beardedshirts.com. I've been buying from them for a while now, and then this relationship organically happened where they liked my stuff. I said, why don't we collaborate? So if you become a Legionnaire, if you become a channel member, you are eligible to win a prize from beardedshirts.com. It could be a shirt of your choice. It could just be a coupon or whatever. So we're changing it up now every now and then. We've already given away a couple prizes. So if you want to join the channel, perfect. If not, that's cool. But check out beardedshirts.com. They got a sale going on right now. Okay, characters. I'm going to give the characters a 1.5. I liked the characters. I like this girl. She's pretty cool. You didn't get a chance to know them too deeply, but you got a lot through their dialogue. So there's a lot of important dialogue here. This is one of the times where the character building does actually help you a little bit. So far, there hasn't been any superheroics. I don't even know if this will become a superhero comic or not. When you're not dealing with a superhero comic and powers and everything like that, you've got to be careful with how you're doing the character writing, how you're doing the dialogue, because that's really your only way to build up a character. Typically, if I see a guy that looks cool and he's fighting someone and he's like, he's got ice powers or something, you're like, oh, that guy's awesome. You don't have that here. So this feels more like, they're trying to do something a little bit deeper with some of the characters. We have to see where it goes. There is no new comic that's going to get a perfect score in characters on your first issue. It's impossible because I don't know these characters. And it's not like if they literally said we're never producing any more comics and this is the only one there's ever going to be, I'll be like, well, okay. Right. If they said, oh, we're never making another X-Men book or we're never making another, Superman or something, I'd be like, oh my God, what, you're not making any more Superman comics? Right. Like, but that's because there's a build up to that. So, but still, I was interested in the characters. The Doctor is kind of cool. Yeah, so that's the characters. For the overall enjoyment factor, yeah, I'll give it a 1.5. Again, I really liked it. I will get issue 2. So when we get down to the enjoyment factor, the big question you're asking is, should I read this issue? Should I care about getting issue number 2? And I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead. check this one out. The overall score I'm giving it is an 8 out of 10. So that's where we're at in terms of expectation level. If everything was okay, you'd give it a 5 or 6 out of 10. I'm saying it's an 8 out of 10. So for a non-superhero comic, if you like that kind of thing, this was really well done. So I recommend picking it up. I will get issue 2, and I will see how that works and go from there. Usually for new comic books, 3 issues is the number. By the 3rd issue, you should be well into the, oh hell yes, I've got to collect this, or it's not for me. Right now, I'm positively optimistic, or I'm optimistic for what will happen in number 2. Number 2 is going to definitely have to pick it up a little bit, because I do like comics that move a little bit quicker. Again, everything got good marks here, so that's great. Let's see what happens with issue number 2. I was not paid for this review, and I bought this with my own money. I did not make any promises to the writers who I met at the show. I did not say I would give this a good review or a bad review or anything. I will always give my honest opinion. Some people have agreed with me on something, some people don't agree with me. That's fine. I've explained myself. 8 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good. That is it. Okay, everybody, if you like my space rating system, please like the video, share it, subscribe, all the stuff that everyone asks you to do, only I'm asking you twice. I'm asking you a second time. All right, everyone, that is it. Until next time.